So today we're answering the question, the advantages and disadvantages of community in regards to an online or a digital church. Once again, White really asks some great questions and looks at it. Um, he talks about advantage-wise, you can do small groups effectively. It's a really great outreach tool because you can get people to come. It's so low pressure. You can bring neighbors over to participate in the services. People will do it with relative ease. He talks about that aspect, providing the sacrament of communion online to shut-ins, invalids, or individuals who can't make it out, people who are either sick or um, incapable of leaving their house or being exposed to other people because of health reasons. Those individuals can still connect with a support group. They can connect with a small group. Um, just even attending college online, you really see how the online community provides a way for people to interact on their own time. So if they're busy at a certain hour, they might not be able to participate in a particular instance, but they can always come back later, gather the information they need, leave the comments they need. And I think that kind of mentality actually creates an opportunity for more people to be engaged in the community online because they can do it at their own time, in a way that if you miss out on an in-person service, then you just miss the service. It's gone. There's no way to participate or make that participation back up, if you will. But he does raise some really good questions about the disadvantages of the community of online, and that is, can you baptize people online? Just theologically, ecclesiastically, can somebody be in a remote location baptizing themselves? What's the framework of that? Theologically, is that accurate? Is that fair? So there are limits, and I think that point was really important that he brought up. And I think even in regards to the sense of administering communion to people online, he was talking about how there would be a deacon who would go perform communion to shut-ins. He compared that to kind of doing communion online. Well, there's a distinct difference there. And the distinct difference is, if somebody is shut in, they have a need. Maybe it's physical, emotional, mental, whatever. They have a very realistic need, something that is constraining them from being able to leave the house. If a deacon goes there to bring them communion, he also brings with him the presence of empathy to be prayed up about that person, to be spiritually ready to minister to whatever that person's need is. Well, online you can give communion to 25 people at once, but who is prayed up and prepared for each one of those person's needs? So I see that as a limitation, and perhaps, I guess this is my point. If people prefer to attend online and they don't want to have in-person interaction, there's not going to be much we're going to be able to do to stop that as church leaders. That's going to be their choice. But as a church, if our goal is to connect with people online because we're afraid of, or we don't want to take the responsibility of being accountable to have human interaction on a regular basis with each one of those people, then I think that's a failure on our part. And I think that that's kind of missing the point of being the body of Christ. There is something that needs to be said for How can we be one body if we're never assembled? Ecclesia, called out assembly, assembling in some form, I think, in order for the benefit of the church to be fully realized. Hybrid is the goal. It's okay to have an online presence and maximize online participation as long as the church is not seeking to use online participation as a replacement for in-person connection.